Alrighty everyone, so on today's menu are baked pork buns, and these guys are very similar to the steamed char siu bao, only it actually uses that milk bread recipe on the outside, so it's nice and bready and baked, and then inside is filled with jackfruit char siu, which is super good. So I can't wait to show you guys the recipe. Rightio, so we're gonna start off with 1 can of young green jackfruit, and these guys are different from the more ripened ones, which are actually sweet. Okay, so strain it out. I think they're available at most Asian grocery stores that I've seen, and you're just gonna pull it like you pull pulled pork. And if you've never worked with jackfruit before, it actually is a great substitute for pulled pork because it does have these meaty strands to it. So this is how they end up looking. Now onwards to the rest of the recipe. So I have a little bit of potato starch. You can actually use about 1.5 tablespoons of cornstarch, and that's just going to absorb all of the nice liquid that's about to come in and create a nice sauce. So I have 1.5 teaspoons of oyster sauce, followed by about 1 tablespoon of light soy sauce, and then all of this recipe is going to be down below. And then 2 tablespoons of hoisin sauce. This is kind of like a very quick way of creating that char siu recipe. This is a little bit of brown rice syrup. If you are looking for kind of that full all-out char siu recipe, I created the original probably like 2 years ago, so I'm gonna put that link down below. So you have a little bit of garlic, a little bit of minced ginger, and then this is some rice wine. So all of that goes in and creates some really good flavor. Finally, we're gonna add about 1/4 teaspoon of 5-spice powder, and that's just gonna add some nice sweetness to this filling, and then you just mix it all together until it is nice and combined. So once that comes together, stick it into the fridge for about 30 minutes, and then it'll kind of firm up and become a nicer filling to work with. So meanwhile, this is that infamous milk bread dough that I've made a ton of times, and I'm going to put that link down below, but I've made half the recipe for this, but the filling and everything actually makes enough for 8 buns. So I'm just really chopping this dough up into 4, and then you want to roll them out into circles. I kind of didn't want to overwork this guy too much, and I didn't want to make too much fuss, but you can do that, or you can just basically take the square pieces and then kind of flatten them so that you can just start filling the buns just like that. So time for the filling and the fun part. So this has been in the refrigerator for a little bit, so it's going to be a lot easier to work with, and I'm filling each bao with about, I'd say like 1.5 tablespoons. I want to really like jam pack these guys, but you know, it can go anywhere between like 1 and 1.5 tablespoons depending on how comfortable you are wrapping up the dough. But this is actually a really easy one. I know that you guys have seen me like roll things before and do weird crimping and whatnot. For this, I'm just going to bunch everything into a ball and then basically seal the bottoms. So yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna put it onto a sheet tray for it to rest for about like half an hour before we start baking it. But you can see I'm not really worried about these. I'm bunching them up sort of like in a bag, pinching the bottoms, and then, you know, just making sure that it stays into a ball shape and that it's nice and sealed. So before I lay them to rest to proof, this is a mixture of Earth Balance or like a vegan butter, baking soda, and then a little bit of sugar, and it really helps with the browning of this dough because sometimes the vegan version doesn't brown so well. So recipe is going to be down below for that, but it's just going to give you some really nice color, and also it provides like a nice sticky base for when I put some of the sesame up on top for decoration. So this goes into a semi-warm place and then just let it rest for about 30 minutes to an hour. So these are they after the proof. They don't look significantly different, but they go into a 350-degree oven for, I would say, about 20 minutes. So just be careful because it does brown. And then what you want to do to finish this off is to take some vegan butter and then just brush it on, and it'll just create this gorgeous sheen and add some really nice moisture to the bread as well. Ugh, they just look so good, and the smell is extravagant. Time for the big reveal, and it is quite good because it's bready as well, so you get really like a nice texture to both. And the jackfruit is amazing, and it's so well marinated, and the bread is just, it's ever so slightly sweet, and it's kind of buttery, and it's just an amazing baked bread. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this recipe and that you will try making it. As usual, if you want to see more recipes like this, remember to hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys again next time. Bye!